Good evening, y'all. I hope everyone is having a wonderful night. This will be a super quick episode. Please like, comment, and share to get this news out. But we had a lot happen last week, y'all. For some reason, memorials all over are getting vandalized. So I figured I'd share this article because not only did we see memorial vandalization in DC, but it also occurred in other places around the country. And before we get into tonight's quick episode, I want to remind y'all that the views and opinions expressed here on Mason Dixon Podcast and on MAD, our own and just our own views, and they do not represent the views and opinions of any other person, group, or organization. Remember that stars help us put up statues. So for those of y'all that want to donate stars, click that stars button down below and send us some stars. We also have a lot going on in Florida, so please visit Save Southern Heritage Florida. Check out their website, become a member. They have great shirts that go to a great cause, as well as our fundraiser at Defend Arlington. Our goal is to get Arlington put back up where it belongs, back in Arlington Cemetery, the tomb of Moses Ezekiel. All right, so how is everyone doing today, y'all? Comment down below, say where y'all coming in from. I'm going to share the article for y'all to take a look at this. So this occurred in Denver, Colorado. And interestingly enough, that's been one of them states where they just remove all kinds of history. It's gotten very liberal in Denver, Colorado. I know New Mexico as well, in that Rocky Mountain area. It ain't a good place if y'all like history. And it says right here, a call to support the U.S. Marine Corps Memorial in Golden after sprayed with anti-war graffiti. And it's the 47th anniversary celebration, and those who maintain the memorial are wanting some help to preserve it. So this memorial was a veterans memorial. And right here, it was sprayed with pro-Hamas writing. As we know, a lot of these pro-Hamas people, they have ties with the terrorist group CARES. So CARE is this group that claims to be for Muslim, activism and whatnot, but instead they're too busy tearing down anything patriotic, anything historical, and they're for promoting a really dangerous message. So while CARE is claiming to be the victim of a lot of stuff, their supporters, who are typically backed by a lot of left-wing people, are causing a lot of damage around the country. We saw what they did in what they call the mostly peaceful riots of love in 2020. They think that's acceptable behavior. And some of their lackeys and followers were bussed in, were shipped out, were put on the ground there. And if they broke the law or got arrested, they were released because of their legal defense fund. Why are we allowing that in our country? I mean, this is a Marines memorial, and it goes to show y'all that those of us that hate the heritage, that hate our wonderful Southern heritage, they always say, oh, well, your Southern veterans lost the war. You shouldn't honor them. Let's honor real American veterans, yada, yada, yada. Well, this is a memorial to Marines, and apparently that ain't even safe anymore. And what usually happens is the mayor or the governor says, oh, well, you know what? It's controversial, that United States Marines Memorial. Let's put it in a museum. Let's put it in a cemetery where it'll be safe. And in reality, they end up putting it somewhere where there's no safety, no one to look out for it, and it ends up being vandalized and or totally destroyed. So again, why is that allowed to happen, y'all? Let's go down and see what happened. So this is in Jefferson City. The community is extremely upset, rightfully so. Right here, we have more pro-Hamas writing. And these so-called college activists who are taught how to do this by their teachers that are radical leftists don't feel that there's any consequences. I mean, after all, when have we saw rioters actually getting arrested and sentenced? Nope. But let's just say, I don't know, without mentioning the date, if you were in the wrong place, the wrong time in January, back a few years, just walking through, peacefully assembling, you would be locked up even now. So again, it's a double standard. And notice how you have, you have Biden, who has not denounced this. You have Kamala, who she hasn't said a single thing about this, despite her wanting to run for commander-in-chief. It really it speaks volumes, especially their blatant silence. And when they had, Benjamin Netanyahu come to the United States, give his speech at the Capitol, you had all these Democrats that staged a coup, and they said, we're not going to see him speak. We're not going to go there. And they were very adamant about that, which was very telling. And then you see, these key figures that want people to vote for them, they're not going there. And we've seen that their behavior has cost them elections. So their behavior is actually pretty good at basically causing a lot of their own in-group drama in the Democrat Party. And what seems like is going to happen is we're going to see the Democrat Party completely fall apart, just like the Republican Party is falling apart. And that's a good thing too. We have got to get away from this two-party system. And it's unfortunate it takes all this to kind of make people realize this, because, typically what we're seeing now is these Republicans are going, oh no, this is wrong. Why are we defacing memorials? Yet let's not forget, y'all, it was Republicans who caused this to happen in the first place. George Bush removing a Confederate memorial, Nikki Haley lowering the Confederate battle flag from the State House in Charleston, Tate Reeves changing the real flag of Mississippi to a socialist one. And the Republicans just blindly follow. But when we have stuff like this, it's, oh, we can't address that. We just have to pretend like we're the conservatives. Y'all got to call it out, because the Democrats are just as bad as the Republicans in this. And I know, JFK Jr. makes a lot of sense when he says, let's save our memorials. It's really Trump and JFK Jr. that are for our American memorials. Biden's made it clear he ain't. Kamala made it clear she ain't. Some of the Republicans, anti-memorial. Quite a bit of the Democrats, anti-memorial. You're lucky if maybe you get 3 or 4 of them that are actually for American history. And right here, they see this memorial and they're trying to remove the graffiti and they're trying to put stuff over and, make sure it looks all good. And they're still looking for, help in the future. There's an investigation, but right here, more graffiti on this memorial. So if anybody knows anything about this, report them. I mean, I'm the kind of person that, if I find out that somebody I knew vandalized a veterans memorial, well, guess what? I'm going to find out evidence. I'm going to get proof, and I'm going to turn them right into the police, because we've got to send a message. They want to act like fools. They want to do this. There's consequences. There are memorials that I myself cannot stand, but I walk right past them. Why can't they give our memorials the same respect? And right here is the address if anybody knows anything, and you can donate to help the local community clean up this memorial. Here are some of the other damage that occurred in Washington, D.C., which was absolutely deplorable. As usual, whether it was National Park Service or, anybody who is in charge of security there, they weren't even doing their job. They weren't there. They were probably told to stand down. They didn't do nothing. So they just let these rioters pretty much destroy everything there. So here's the article I'm going to be sharing for the next one, y'all, so we can discuss this. At some point, there's got to be consequences and people actually doing hardcore time for this, because, they've got to realize that you can't just destroy stuff and expect that that's okay behavior. It says protesters vandalized statues. All these darn ads. Vandalized statues, fountain outside of DC's Union Station after speech from Netanyahu. And the National Park Service removed graffiti, made repairs to monuments outside DC Station. So let's see what the damage was. We had thousands of rioters. They call them demonstrators. They're rioters, y'all. They chanted Free Palestine, waved Palestinian flags. They marched toward the Capitol. They burned federal flags. They hoisted the Palestinian flag in their place. The Columbus Memorial Fountain was badly damaged. They said Hamas is coming. They flew Hamas flags. They flew terrorism flags. And notice that a lot of these groups like the NAACP is condoning this. We have groups like SPLC, CARE. We have all these radical left-wing groups like BLM saying, go ahead, do this. This is fine. And what really just boggles my mind, y'all, is the whole group, the Queers for Palestine. I mean, do they not know their history or their world politics? Because it really does not make sense. So that was sprayed right there. How come that is not labeled as a threat, y'all? Everyone just ignores it. Everyone's thinking, oh, it's no big deal. We have the woke military. The woke military is all for this, y'all. I mean, we have people that are serving in the military that are very woke, very left-wing. And I give a lot of kudos to those that are actively telling their family members, do not enlist, do not serve. I fully agree that. We got to make this military shrink down to nothing. The current military environment is also playing a role in this, and it's just as bad as a lot of these other left-wing groups. They're told to follow orders, and then they forget that simply saying, I was just following orders is not a viable excuse. That was right outside in front of the Capitol. Or, sorry, near the Capitol, not at the Capitol. The Liberty Bell right there. Here they had to cover up some deplorable writing because, of course, they always use foul language. It's the only way they can communicate. We have them wearing them Hamas headscarves. This guy sitting on top of the memorial as it's being vandalized. Right here, we got more woke college students. Spray painted. Battered. Nobody going to jail for that, y'all. And that's the cleanup crew from the National Park Service trying to clean it out. My own, curiosity is how come they were not more proactive? Again, National Park Service is supposed to be doing their job. They haven't been doing it. At when are people going to resign and realize that it's not worth it? From Stephanie Ramirez. She says, look at the damage the Park Service is cleaning up this morning from pro-Palestine rioters. And of course, as usual, not many were arrested of the thousands. So 9 people were arrested in Washington, 4 people on charges of assaulting police officers. Right there. And that looks like it is that, y'all. And what's really comical, y'all, is when you think about the Republicans. Where are the Republicans in this? Because some of them that were denouncing this were the same Republicans that made it possible for Arlington to get demolished. So, in my own honest opinion, they do not have any saying or standing in this. They are just as bad as the people that are doing this. And then you have the Republicans going, oh, well, this is different than the Confederate memorials. Is it though? It's a veterans memorial, My buddy, Mr. Brian, it was so good to see you in Charleston. How are you, my friend? Always a pleasure seeing you. So that was just my own food for thought. I think that one of the things that we got to consider as we go forward is we need more laws that have got to be passed where, they up the penalties for defacing any memorial. And this is what I tell people, right? People think we're only caring about Confederate memorials. I mean, there's memorials of Christopher Columbus, Revolutionary War heroes that are important. All monuments should be safe. We should not be censoring monuments because they're deemed offensive. That's never cool to do. So why don't we just protect all memorials? And if you don't like a memorial, well, guess what? Walk on by, don't remove it, don't relocate it. And we have got to start enforcing the law. These people need to be locked up for at least 10 to 20 years. Let them stay in a federal prison. Let them learn the hard way. Maybe they'll learn and have some appreciation for our history after. Because at the rate that we're going to be fast on track to be a communist country like China. We have Maoism that's being taught in schools. We have different fields that are promoting their DEI, which has socialist roots to it. At some point, enough has got to be enough. And I think that parents have seen enough, and that's why we're taking over school boards, and they're coming in there and they're saying, you know what? Parents, concerned citizens, people that are young people that are saying we got to get involved in this, and they're taking control, and they're taking over smaller government, because that's where the power is, y'all. You know, federal stuff only goes so far. I mean, this right here, DC, it's center of everything federal. They're not safe from everything. They're not safe from cancel culture. They're not safe from being vandalized, and there's in-group corruption. So guess what? The rioters come there, they destroy everything, there's nothing boarded up, and the federal response is, yeah, we denounce it. We've only arrested, I think, 4 of them. Out of those 4, the charges don't even stick, and we set them free. And that's what we're getting. But we're not getting enforcing the law. We're not getting, new memorials put back up. We're not getting memorials repaired. If this continues, we're going to lose priceless works of art that you can never repair. And part of the functioning society is a wonderful public works, not public works, well, that's part of it, but public art program, as well as public history. They all matter. Memorials are history. They tell a story. They add beauty to the land. And here we have these left-wing nut jobs saying, oh, no, memorials ain't history. They don't matter. Simply putting a tree there is beautiful enough. And I'm just like, no, not buying it. I mean, if you look at Charleston in South Carolina, their battery is so beautiful. It's just a long strip of memorials. They've got Revolutionary War. I think there's War of 1812. And they got War between the states. And they all matter. All of those memorials talk about the citizens of Charleston as well as the history. You could study art history. You could learn about the sculptor. There's a lot of things to learn from studying memorials. That's right. Mr. Brian says, do not trust politicians. I fully agree. And you know, this has been the worst thing, y'all, is when we politicized our history. So here we have, again, 2 sides, 2 wings of the same bird. You have the Republicans that are, anti-memorial, anti-Arlington. Oh, this was a disgrace. It was wrong. We denounce it. They don't do nothing, though, and they're just as complicit. You have the left that's going, yeah, let's tear down more memorials. Great job, y'all. And then maybe you'll have 2 that said, oh, we don't agree with this, but at the same time, we ain't going to stop our party from destroying these memorials. And as time goes on, we're probably going to see that more memorials are going to be removed. I wouldn't doubt that there's going to take down World War I, World War II, anybody who was Christian, anyone who was a male, anybody who had conservative values, anyone who loved their country's fair game. But if you are Mao Zedong, if you are Joseph Stalin, if you are Karl Marx or Lenin, we'll put up more memorials for you. That's pretty much what they do, y'all. So I am pretty interested in seeing where things are going to go in the future and how things are going to work out. Please share this video. Please like this page, Monuments Across Dixie News and Travel. This is our new page. We're also getting a second one. We usually go live around 8 p.m. Eastern time on Mondays and Thursdays. We are the #1 place to get Confederate news and Confederate events. And we do have some book reviews coming up, but I got to do some reading, y'all. And we have our panel discussion on Thursday. All right, y'all. So it was great seeing y'all. Please like this video, share, comment. Y'all stay Southern, and Deo Vindice, y'all.